As we've been saying, and as you know by now, today is Election Day. Voters are going to the polls across the country for the 2018 midterm elections. Turnout in Allegheny County is predicted to be at 51%. That's above average due to high interest in the outcome. Many voters see this as a vote on the future of American democracy, and who we are as a nation is on the ballot. The outcome is one of the most awaited in U.S. history. So we're talking politics and money. And today in our regular Tuesday Talk segment, we want to meet our panelists, KDKA Money and Politics editor Jon Delano and financial planner and regular PTL guest Rob Wilson. So, Jon, we want to start with you. What everyone is saying about this election is a referendum on President Trump. That's something that he said.
Yes, it's not just us, it's
right.
him.
Last
night again, he said, my name is on the ballot. Well, of course, his name is not on the ballot, but his performance as President of the United States, his words and deeds, they're on the ballot in a way, because if you like what Donald Trump is doing, you vote Republican. If you've got problems with the president, you vote Democratic. He's made it as simple as you can make it when it comes to voting in this year's election. Now, we all know that there are differences in candidates, and there'll be those who know different candidates and who will want to make a judgment based on the individuals who are actually running for U.S. Senate or for the U.S. House. But the president has made this a referendum on himself.
Well, what's at stake here? What are we talking, and how does this influence national politics?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're talking about, really, even though we have an important race for governor in Pennsylvania and for state Senate and for state House. But nationally, this is all about who controls the Congress. Right now, the Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. There's no check on Donald Trump. So Democrats are saying vote Democratic so they can control the House, and that at least gives them, you know, a check on the president when it comes to legislation. And I might add to investigations, because I think if the Democrats control the U.S. House of Representatives, we will see investigations into all the folks who have been indicted and all the different issues that have come up in the Trump administration.
Rob, we were kind of talking in the break, too, about how the money of all of this affects things, because what we don't see behind closed doors is the lobbyists and the groups that are funding some of the politicians and the ads. So who we're putting into office, how they'll vote down the line once we vote them in.
Oh, of course. And so we talk all the time about how people really need to be paying attention to their personal finances, right? And so you definitely want to be able to take care of your family. But one other reason why you need to have financial resources is that you can't really see the change that you want to see happen if you don't have the resources to support the candidates and support the ideas that you think should be prevalent in this country. And so it's not just what you can do for yourself, right? It's what you can do for your neighborhood, your neighbors, your country. And unfortunately, a lot of that comes down to financial resources. I mean, this is going to be the most expensive midterm election in history, more than $5 billion with a B dollars spent. And so part of that, because we're in this sort of post-factual universe that we're in, people can just, you know, write a check, put whatever they want on the airwaves and not really be checked on it. And so you can get your message out there, whether it's true or not. One thing, though, it's going to get people to the polls today.
You know, the bottom line is you are allowed under the First Amendment to lie in your campaign ads. So there's no protection.
Jon.
So, you know, Rob's right. People are spending a ton of money on ads, but you can't be sure. Just because you see it on TV doesn't mean it's true.
So then, again, I think that this is where the confusion comes in for a lot of voters, because then what do you believe? If they've been in office, you can check the history of how they voted on things. You can see what they've done for your community if they're representing your local area, and you can see that direct impact. But then how can you really tell?
Well, this is where it all comes down to a more intelligent voter, somebody who's willing to do some research on the internet, watch a variety of newscasts. You know, maybe this is heresy to say, but the fact is you can't just read the newspaper or watch the TV station that is all up your way. I mean, that basically confirms your own prejudices. You got to take a look at the other guy and what the other stories and what the other papers are saying. And we don't do as much of that as we should. I think it makes it really tough on the voters.
Well, and get that balance, like you mentioned. So Rob, when we talk about the $5 billion, can you talk about that kind of influence and how that really impacts the voters at home? Because they're getting bombarded with ads. We've been seeing them in the months and really in the weeks leading up to this election.
Yeah, it's huge because, again, as we talked about the amount of information that you can sort of inject to the country's bloodstream, if you just pay attention to these 30-second ads and sound sound bites, you have no idea. But here's where the internet is both the gift and the curse, right? There's all of the information is out there, so you could fact check it, but there's so much information out there that is sort of a deluge, and so you get to a point where you're not sure, and some people just get turned off, quite frankly, and just like to hear the flashy words or the exciting stuff. So it's really disappointing that we're in this situation where you can just go lie, but that's the universe that we live in today. So the most important thing that you can do is go vote. Don't let the ads sort of trick you into just staying home, or even thinking that your side is going to win because the polls say this and your person is up, so maybe your vote doesn't count. Your vote absolutely counts. If you're trying to get in shape, you can do sit-ups. It's probably the 25th one that really, really hurts, but you can't get to 25 until you start 1, 2, and 3, right? So your vote absolutely counts.
And on the voting, 4 years ago, 80 million Americans voted. Today, we are expecting at least 105 million Americans to vote. A sea change from the last midterm congressional. Now, not as high as the presidential election. 2 years ago, 137 million Americans voted. It won't be that high, but it's a lot more people than folks thought a month or 2 months ago.
Well, and I mean, really, for the midterm elections, that's really high. And I saw some figures this morning, too, saying that millennials will outweigh or outnumber the number of baby boomers at the polls today.
This is the first year that's the case. There are now more millennial registered voters than baby boomers. But, Heather, the big question is, will they vote? Young people, those under 35, traditionally do not vote in big numbers. They have always represented single digits of the total electorate, 8, 9, maybe 10%. So and those over 65, they always vote.
Right.
So the question today is, again, will millennials, will those under 35 turn out to vote, and how will they vote?
Well, one of the big things in Allegheny County, to get specific here in the Pittsburgh area and close to home, the referendum on basically taxing yourself. The county wants to know if you want to add this extra tax or increase the tax to help children and after-school programs and that sort of thing. So I'm interested in your take, both of you, on that.
Well, this is not a county. The county did not vote for this. That is the county council or the county executive. In fact, the county executive wants you to vote no. This was done by an independent group of people who got 60-some thousand names on a referendum petition. They've put this ballot question on. Essentially, for every $100,000 in assessed value of your house, you're being asked to pay an additional tax on top of your property taxes of $25 a year. That money will go into a fund that is designed to help children in a variety of areas. But the critics say it doesn't tell you how this money is going to be spent.
Right.
It's like voting to tax yourself for something that you really don't know where it's going to go in the end.
Well, and I'm curious your take on that, Rob, because you like to know where your money's going all the time.
I certainly do, but it's funny because people sometimes, vote against their own self-interests all the time. And so you would say, on a basic level, why would you vote to have to pay more taxes? But some people, because it says children, and I promise you, there are going to be a majority of the voters who go in the booth either never heard of it before or just truly don't understand what the guts of this thing are. But it's like, it's the children's fund. So how can you vote against children? Just going to go for it. So this is where you would like to see some of that money being spent to actually educate on the real issues instead of just sound bites and things that get people sort of ginned up and excited.
When you head to the polls today, is there an option to not choose either, to not choose yes or no? Or
well, you can leave it blank.
Okay.
You can leave it blank, but most people are going to vote either yes or no.
Okay. But good to do your homework if you can before you go to the polls today.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you joining us. Want to thank our panelists, KDKA's politics and money editor, Jon Delano, and financial planner, Rob Wilson of Wilson Insight, and regular PTL guest.